Hello again and welcome back. My name's Annie and this is my creative detour. I am back from my cruise. I'm running a little bit behind because I obviously missed a few weeks. So today is full deck challenge day and I've got a couple of weeks to catch up on, like I said. So this is card number 14, which happened, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago. And it is turquoise and staples. So today we're going to do that. I've already pulled out a card and I have to carry something forward. So I've got lots of circles on this one from my mixtape from the 80s. So I'm going to carry forward some circles as my bring forward. And for those of you that watch often, you know that I've got to use a paint sample somewhere. So I'll pull out my supplies and we'll get started. Okay, I'm back. Now I pulled out a few things from some of the scrapbook paper that I had from this Vicky Booten Fernwood collection. It had this really lovely turquoise colour. And like I said, I want to carry forward some circles. So I've already punched out a circle that I will definitely use. I also, I've got a few paint cells. I'm not sure whether I'm going to need more, but I have punched out a turquoise circle out of this paint swatch as well. So I'll probably use that. And then I have some circles that I have, whenever I'm die cutting circles, I always cut extras. So I'm not sure whether I want the gold or this piece of vellum or tracing paper. I grabbed it anyway. I also have some scraps, some offcuts, and some of these bits from that same range. One of the border strips, or two of the border strips actually. So that's a border strip. I'm not sure if I'm going to use that, but I've got it. And I also have this piece of scrap. I didn't mind this Stay Curious and this little stack here. I quite liked that. I may use that, not sure. And a piece of this if I need to punch out some more circles, maybe in some of these neutrals or this turquoisey colour here. So got a few resources. I also have this Reader's Digest Pocket Herb book. And you can see I paid $1 for it. I picked it up at a charity shop a few years ago now. And I quite liked the idea of maybe tearing up some paper, putting it in the background. And these little herbs have got a nice little turquoise illustration next to them. So I quite like that. So I might pull out some text out of here and fussy cut out some of these little illustrations here of the herbs. And I also found a hero of the composition, and he is a dragonfly, and he's lovely, and he's got golden wings with turquoise and gold flecks on him. And that came from a Graphic 45 ephemera kit for Life is Abundant. And yeah, it's the ephemera assortment, number 38 assorted pieces, and Life is Abundant. So I've taken him out. He's going to be my focal point. So got a bit of a direction. Not sure what it's going to turn out like, but let's get started. So I think I'm going to start by pulling something out of this book and tearing some text and putting it down. I don't know that I want all of the text to be perfect. Let's just have a little bit of a plan of where I'm going to put some of this so that I can work out where to glue it down. Okay, I'm just I'm just laying it down to get a little bit of a plan. It's not going to take me a massive amount of time, but I think that I'm just going to glue this down with a little bit of Mod Podge and fill in some of the gaps. I might have to cover the back, might do that in some text as well. All right, I have a plan. I pulled out some masking tape. I just wanted to hide this 10 of clubs a little bit. So we'll tear some of that off. And it's in a similar colour to the paper, book page. So I might put that down first and then stick this on. So, some news. Well, we went on our cruise. It was fabulous. For those of you who are new, I often talk about cruising. My husband and I, we are addicted to cruising. We love it. So we went on our cruise and it was very relaxing and everything went well and food was amazing, but you know, that's often the case with cruises. the the interesting thing is that for some of you that watch often, you'll know that I live in Brisbane, Australia, and we went on 2 cruises, a back-to-back cruise. So the first cruise, it was leaving from Sydney, not from Brisbane. So we had to drive. So we drove down to New South Wales and we stayed with some family and saw family. And then we caught the train down to Sydney and got on the cruise, which that was all fine. We quite like doing that. But the ridiculous thing is that the cruise was going to Moreton Island. Now, for those of you that know Queensland at all, Moreton Island is an island off in the bay near Brisbane. So we drove all the way to Sydney to get on a cruise, a 4-day cruise, to go to Moreton Island and back. And it took us to an island that we could have driven half an hour away and got on a ferry and went to. Now, some of you might say, well, what was the point of that? Well, the point was, for us, you know how you read those, those blurbs and those sentiments. Actually, I was reading some just now to see what I could put in on this. And it says, they say, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Well, for us, it's very much the case that it's about the journey for us. It's about getting on the boat, enjoying the ship, and I'll just check that. I might need to move it down a little bit. So it really is about the journey for us, not the destination. We've been to Moreton Island before, and like I said, it's close to where we live. Well, the ferry to get to it is very close to where we live. You know, we could, any weekend at all, we could drive to the wharf and buy a ticket on the ferry and go over for the day and have a lovely day at the beach and, you know, maybe watch the dolphins being fed at the beach and all the, the pelicans and all that sort of stuff. However, we love getting on a boat. So we drove, like I said, and we caught the train down to Sydney and we got on the cruise. But the main reason for us to go was that it was one of my parents' birthdays. And so we were going to be on the cruise for 4 days. And then my parents and my brother and sister-in-law were then going to get on the next cruise, which is the back-to-back cruise, a 3-day cruise, and join us. And then we were going to have a cruise birthday trip. So it wasn't really just about, going on the cruise to, nowhere or anything. It was, about being in a convenient location for the rest of the family to get on as well. So we went all the way down there, and for us, Sydney is at least 10 hours away. Then we went on the cruise, and then sure enough, my family got on the next cruise, and we stayed on the ship, and we had a lovely celebration. And it was a big birthday. It ended in a 0. And I won't say what number it was because my family will be probably watching this video at some point. But we had a lovely time together and a great celebration. And yeah, it was good. So for those of you interested, yes, the cruise was lovely. And I'm already thinking, we need to book another one. And so's my husband. But in saying that, we have 2 booked for next year. Actually, we have 3 booked for next year because my husband is having a big birthday too that ends in a 0. And we're going on a family cruise with our children and grandchildren to celebrate that and some friends. And then him and I are going on a trip over to Europe, and we're going on some cruises there too. So let's have a little look at what we're up to here. I'm going to stick this on here. Let's cover the back with some more text. So today is Easter Sunday, and I unfortunately missed our Easter hunt in the backyard, which I was most upset about missing because normally I help with hiding the eggs for the Easter hunt. I had to work today because I've been away with cruising. I had to work today. So I missed the Easter hunt, but that's okay. I got it. I got given some of the bounty. When I got home from work, my grandchildren had saved me some of the Easter eggs from the Easter hunt. Don't children just love all of the traditions that we do? They love it, and they're fully immersed in it, love everything about it. Our grandchildren love Easter and Christmas, and we don't normally do Halloween, but my daughter and son-in-law do Halloween, and our children get into that. It's not something that I grew up doing because obviously with being Australian, Halloween is not that big here. But in the last probably 5 years, it's definitely picked up a little bit of momentum. I'm just covering the back so that it's a little bit easier. I could have used lots of little bits of paper, but I'm going to be covering it up with all the circles. So I didn't want to do that. I may put some of this paper on the back, or actually some of this might be nice on the back. All right, let's continue on with putting this down. And I think that I like that there. I quite like that I ripped the top off the balm, the word balm there. I might actually ink that. Now I have to remember that I have to put some staples on this somewhere. So this is my paint swatch that I've got to use. I have a lot of paint swatches because I used to be an interior designer. All right, now I'm going to put this vellum one on. I quite like that. I just need to stick it underneath where I'm going to put our hero. It's going to show a little bit. I don't mind it having a bit of movement and a bit of texture. So I actually think that I'm going to put some staples on our Dragonfly. Oh, let's do the back first. I am jumping around a bit today. I'm a little bit out of practice. Such wonderful things surround you every day. That's very true. And we're so busy that we don't always notice. I must admit that turquoise, well, actually probably teal and aqua. Turquoise is okay, but it's probably number 3, but teal, aqua, I love blue as well, but I love teal and aqua. And I think I'm going to put just a little patch of this on. I like the little bit of gold in this. So let's put this on, and I just want to do that edge. It pulls in, it looks nice with the colouring on this dragonfly. I have so much scrapbook paper that I need to use up. So let's stick that on there. Cut it off. All right, lovely. Let's put that to the side. I am going to attach this and our hero, but I want to put some staples on his wings. Now, I think I'm going to use my tiny attacher. So I'm going to position him on there, and he's going to sit proud a little bit because of those staples, but that's okay. I'm just marking the tracing paper so that I can put some glue or something on it. All right, I'm just going to hold this down so it sticks, and I'll be back with you in a moment. Okay, I'm just erasing some of that pencil. I don't want to see that around the dragonfly. And that glue seems to be doing its job. And I might just put a few little staples in it to hold it where I need it to be. Okay, I'm going to get some double-sided tape and stick our man on, and I'm going to get my eyelet and put an eyelet in as well. Okay, I've taken all the backing off of the back of that. I'm actually going to just put a little bit of art glitter glue on these because I want them to attach well when it sets. So let's do that, and I'm going to line that up. You can kind of see the staining of the glue underneath that vellum, but I traced around it first so that I could position it over the top and you won't see it. And we'll find a sentiment. So I've pulled out a few. I've got "Don't forget to fly." With brave wings she flies, and I also had "Use your wings." I think I like "Don't forget to fly" because I mean he's pretty cool, this dragonfly, but making it more relevant to us. Sometimes we're so busy that we don't tend to use the skills that we've got. We're too busy and we forget to use our talents and enjoy what we're doing. Now, where do I want to put this? Okay, I just put a little bit of ink on that, and I'm putting a little bit of glue on this. I wanted the label to marry in with the color palette a little bit. It was standing out a little bit too starkly, being white. Don't forget to do you. Use your giftings. He's okay. He's not my finest, but I don't dislike it. I don't love it, but he's pretty cute. He's okay. It looks to me like it needs something down here. I know what it needs. It needs a little bit of cotton thread underneath him. So I might get some cotton thread and see about lifting him up and tucking some in. I actually pulled out this champagne colour, and I think I like it a little bit better. So I'm just going to position that on there. Have a little bit of a play. All right, that's sticking. I'm just going to put some glue now on that double-sided tape and stick him back on. All right, we'll set that. Oh, I went through the date. Never mind. All right, let's clear the decks and we'll have a little look. Okay, so here's our card from today. It was turquoise and staples, and I had to carry something forward, so I carried forward some circles, just in different colors, and I had to use a paint sample. So here's our paint sample up the back there, and I have put some staples in his wings to give him a little bit of detail and a little bit on his body, and I've also put a little bit of thread in the background, and we have our turquoise in the background as well. So let's add him to the pack. Thank you very much for tuning in today and catching up with where I'm at. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And I will see you very soon because I've got to catch up on the next challenge as well. So I'll see you soon. Thanks again. Bye for now.